Good morning and welcome to Unity. We begin by acknowledging that we are on the traditional and unceded land of the Snuneymuxw people who have looked after this land as stewards for thousands of years, and we are grateful. Haishka. Welcome. Let's join Ken in singing.
Welcome to Unity, welcome to Unity, welcome to Unity, welcome. Welcome to Unity, welcome to Unity, welcome to Unity, welcome. Join us in singing, join us in prayer, join us in touching hearts of people everywhere. Welcome to Unity, welcome to Unity, welcome to Unity, welcome. In this circle of love, in this circle of peace, in this circle of love, in this circle of peace, I feel our unity, love, sweet security. I feel our unity, love, sweet security. In this circle of love, in this circle of peace, in this circle of love, in this circle of peace, I feel our unity, love, sweet security. I feel our unity, love, sweet security. In this circle of love, in this circle of peace, in this circle of love, in this circle of peace, I feel our unity, love, sweet security. I feel our unity, love, sweet security. In this circle of love, in this circle of peace, in this circle of love, in this circle of peace, I feel our unity, love, sweet security. I feel our unity, love, sweet security. In this circle of love, in this circle of peace, in this circle of love, in this circle of peace, I feel our unity, love, sweet security. I feel our unity, love, sweet security. In this circle of love, in this circle of peace.
I like it. Yeah, Thomas.
It's a little louder than anticipated.
That was lovely.
That was Thomas.
Making sure everybody knows where.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed days, the dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, I I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Thank you, Ken. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you, Nico. Thank you, Kyle.
You guys are messing with me. The best possible.
All right, settle down. Settle down, all of you. Will you join me, please, in an opening prayer? And let us just remember that we are here for only one purpose. We are here to express love into our world in the best way each of us knows how. And we inspired with wisdom, with knowledge, with ideas, when we turn within to the divine presence that connects each one of us, that inspires each one of us, that embraces each one of us, that is within each one of us. And it's through this inner divineness that we come together and understand each other and make ourselves understood by each other. And in the end, we remember we are one. And so it is. Our foundation statement, would please repeat that with me? There is only one presence and one power, active in the universe and in my life, God the good, omnipotence. And the vision of Unity Worldwide Ministries is a world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening. And our announcements this morning, as always, or as usual, Monday to Saturday at 9 a.m., join me on Facebook for just a few minutes of quiet contemplation, a few words of wisdom, hopefully, and a meditation. Lasts about 15 minutes, and everyone is welcome. And on Saturday or Sundays, at least, Dawn and Margaret step in at 10 o'clock with the meditation pre-service. So again, once again, on Facebook from 10 till 10:15, and then grab a cup of coffee and come on back for service at 10:30. A new online class is being offered out of Unity of Victoria, and everyone is welcome. And it's very appropriately embracing change, and we're all doing that right now. Mavis Gleckner, you've probably met her if you've been in Unity for a while. She's been around for many years, has been teaching a class weekly for about 20 years. Her students love her classes, wouldn't be without it. So this is an opportunity for us to come together and from all our centers and join Mavis. So please, the information is there, the email address to register. Think about it, mark it on your calendar. And on Sunday, April 18th, that's a month away, but we need to give you 30 days notice, which we have done. There is a special meeting of our members to vote on the question of whether we are going to change our name in order to welcome Victoria and Comox as full members of our community. I wanted to say a few things about the notice that went out this week. First of all, I apologize. I was in a seniors moment and I said Unity of Victoria instead of Unity of Nanaimo. So we sent out a correction on that. But there was another thing that got missed. It was just a autocorrect thing. It said that the president of the board shall be author to file the papers. Of course, it should be authorized, and we know you figured that one out, so I didn't correct again. But I wanted to just clarify, there's a little confusion on why the name is what it is. It actually is Unity Vancouver Island, a Spiritual Center Society. Well, we wanted to be Unity Vancouver Island, but in the BC societies we can't register that name because it doesn't describe what it is we do. And so we wanted to just be able to say Unity Vancouver Island. So in researching it, I realized that Comox had the same decision. They are officially Unity Comox Valley, a spiritual center society. And for all these years, they've just been known as Unity Comox Valley. So we think that's the best route for us to go. We'll just be Unity Vancouver Island. So I want to thank everyone through all this time who's done their best to educate themselves about this question, has attended meetings and asked their questions. And I want to thank Thomas for handling those meetings so lovingly and kindly and allowing everyone to have a say and a question. And as always, as we mentioned before, from now until that meeting, either Thomas or I are both willing to answer your last-minute questions, if you still have any lingering questions, either by email or telephone. So take advantage of that if you need to. I wanted to also let you know we had a newsletter that we get regularly from Unity Worldwide Ministries, and huge changes are going on there too. There are huge changes happening throughout the community. Communities are closing, communities are coming together, all sorts of different things. And at head office, there have also been major changes. Some financial irregularities were discovered, which meant a reshuffling and hiring of a new CEO, $8 million in special bequests have been given to Unity of Worldwide, so there has to be a committee formed to administer that and decide how they're going to give out some more grants and things. Lots of good things happening. But in this very lengthy newsletter outlining a lot of change, there was this final paragraph that I thought it really touched me, and I think it applies for us too, so I'd like to read it to you. It goes, "We understand that there may be some discomfort with these changes, and there will be further changes as we move forward. Please understand that all changes have been given thoughtful and prayerful consideration, and that we believe they enhance our capacity to develop, equip, and support the sacred work we do." So I wanted to let you know that you have a very, very effective, spirit-led board who have done their due diligence and their research, and please rest assured and have confidence that thorough consideration is being given to every question that comes up. Now, thank you. Daily word, I extend forgiveness to myself. Throughout my life, I have forgiven those who have hurt and disappointed me. In turn, I have been grateful when others extended understanding and forgiveness to me. Even though I have learned to be forgiving with others, I may still find it difficult to forgive myself for mistakes I've made, disappointments I have caused, and commitments I have broken. Today, I open my heart, and with love and compassion, I forgive myself. I remind myself that everyone makes mistakes and deserves understanding and forgiveness, even me. I remember how the prodigal son's father received him with joy when he came home. This joy is mine when I let go of self-condemnation and finally come home to myself. And from Luke 15:20, "But while he was still far off, his father saw him and was filled with compassion. He ran and put his arms around him and kissed him." And we have another song from Ken. Oh, Ken is sitting there waiting for me to lead us in our affirmation. Unity Spiritual Center of Nanaimo is a growing, unfolding, expanding center of light and love, mighty to attract its good and radiate good to others.
All right.
I am free, I am unlimited. There are no chains that bind me. I am free, I am unlimited. Right now, right I am free, I am unlimited, right now, right now.
Keep going. I think I have to turn this thing on. It's time to get serious.
Serious.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Morning, Thomas.
Hey! And the crowd goes mild.
Wait, we'll do the Thomas.
So earlier this week we were out for a little family lunch, and for those of you that don't know me or know my family that well, I have twin teenage daughters, 14, and their names are Brooke and Tatum. And Brooke, in conversation, says, you know, the past is all just an illusion, right? And so we talk about this for a little bit, and so I bring up something from her past. I said, so then that thing, you know, you're fine with that now, you're okay. And she goes, no, that illusion still haunts. Like, it's so good, because if you're anything like me or any of us that are here, you know exactly what she's talking about. That illusion still haunts. So the path to freedom has been a quest of mine since finding Unity, really, and it's probably started long before then. And in my recent term, I had world religions as a class, and I talked a little bit about this a few talks ago, the Four Noble Truths from the Buddha. And I wanted to dive a little deeper in them today and then bring it into a path to freedom and also bring in Unity principles and see how this teaching, this conversation, this ancient wisdom that has been passed on through all sorts of world traditions and religions, it's really, we're all talking about the same thing, yet there's so many different paths that we can get to this place. So the Four Noble Truths are, number one, the truth of suffering. Number two, the truth of the cause of suffering. The truth of the end of suffering, and the truth of the path that leads to the end of the suffering. And so let's talk about the first one, the truth of suffering. Think of this as we all have this suffering, and it's like an axle that has been bent. And the word for this is dukkha. That's what the Buddha used as the word dukkha. And it really means that this thing is off kilter somehow, is probably the best English interpretation. It's off-centered, and so it just kind of wobbles around. And this is present for all of us. And we can't quite put our finger on it, but this is that truth of suffering that we all have. And it comes through 5 sensations. That is these are known as the 5 skandhas: the body, sensations, thoughts, feelings, consciousness. This is the area or the realm in which we all live. And in any one of those areas or all of those areas, we can be off-centered. And that leads to our suffering. So the truth of the cause of suffering is desire for private fulfillment. So this is known as tanha. And this is where we are constantly looking to just serve ourselves. And so in that quest, we're never satisfied. It's kind of like, I get this next thing and this next thing and this next thing, and I'll go get this next thing and I'll get this next thing, and we're never really present and satisfied, so we're constantly in seeking and looking for something outside of ourselves to attain this freedom. And the third is the truth of the end of suffering. Well, if tanha is the cause of suffering, then the truth of the end of suffering must be the ability to let go of this tanha, or to become selfless. When we become selfless, we can become free. And that leads to the truth of the path that leads to the end of the suffering. And so the Buddha designed something known as the Eightfold Path. And the Eightfold Path are these 8 beautiful things. And I'm going to tie this in beautifully to Unity. At least I think it's beautiful, but you can be the judge of that. The Eightfold Path. So first we have right views. And the right views are, think of this more as like a blueprint, a map for ourselves. Do we have the right way of approaching life, or the right way of looking at things in the way we process? So we begin with What are we thinking? How do we think? Having right views. Because if we first start with a right view to things, then we can lead ourselves forward. Next up is right intent. And this is really the ability to drop from the thinking, complicated mind, the mind that is always seeking, to actually dropping into our heart space and finding out what is our truth, what is our right intent. So when we can do that, we can begin to live from our heart space, and when we live from our heart, we get out of that mind game, out of that constant narrative that's happening. Next is right speech. Right speech is our ability to project our character. And I've always thought of right speech as two things. One is what we're saying, so what we're saying into the world, what we're speaking out into the world. And secondly, what are the words that we're thinking? What are we thinking about ourselves? What are we thinking about others? What are we saying about ourselves or saying about others when we use speech? Right? So we want to be mindful of what are the words that we use. How do we talk? How do we think? What is the constant narrative? Then brings us to right conduct. And this is a call to understand our own behavior. So we begin now to actually look at how are we acting? What is our behavior? Is it aligned with the very things that we want to see in the world? Is it aligned with how we want to be in the world? So what is our conduct? And the Buddha had five do nots that went with right conduct. And Gitsala really resonates with the five do nots. Do not kill, do not steal, do not lie, do not unchaste, and do not drink intoxicants. So those were Buddha's 5 do nots in the path to right conduct. Next up is right livelihood. And you might be thinking right away, well, what does livelihood meaning work? But it really means everything in our livelihood. So everything that we do, all of our actions, all of our activities, are those aligned with this path that we want to be on? Is our work aligned with what we want to be seeing in the world? Or do we have something that doesn't resonate with us completely? And I'm not suggesting you need to go out and quit your job or, change your life tomorrow. That's not what I'm suggesting. It's more of an inquiry. Are we asking ourselves these questions? Are we looking at our lives and seeing, if I am suffering, if there is this feeling of suffering, what in my life is the cause of it? And where can I begin to conduct myself in a way that lines up with what my path to freedom might be? Next is right effort. And you can look at this as your will, the will to do it. Am I putting in the effort to do the things that I want to do? And this is like behavioral change, any type of change takes something out of us, right? It takes will. I get it. It's not easy to be on a path. It really isn't. And it takes work. It takes all of these 8 things that I'm discussing right now in order for us to fulfill on that. And so will is extremely important in this quest. Right effort. Sorry, I just handled that. Right mindfulness. And this is the Buddhist text, the Dhammapada, opens with these words. All we are is the result of what we have thought. All we are is the result of what we have thought. Pretty powerful. If you could meditate on that for days and go deeper and deeper into what has built you into the person you are today. And it's all stemming from how we perceive things, the illusion of the past, and the haunting of the past that is still with us, as Brooke would say. And in respecting the future, the Buddha says, he assures us that all things can be mastered by mindfulness. So really, there's so much importance in how we think. And finally, right concentration. The Buddha devoted his life completely to spiritual adventure. And so the concentration is digging into the teachings and having that time to really reflect and concentrate on what it is that you're here to do or what it is that you're here to cause. So in Unity's 5 principles, how can we relate these to the Eightfold Path? And what I find fascinating is that the Fillmores, Charles, it is, in a lot of the books I've read and the conversations I've had about unity, is it's believed that Charles did look to the East on several occasions around his spiritual unfoldment. It wasn't just what he was picking up or understanding from the Bible. It was also in teachings from the East that he was looking at and understanding and beginning to adopt things like the 12 powers and placing them within the body, etc. And so God is good, our number one principle. Right? There is only one power and one presence active in the universe and in my life, God the good, omnipotence. Well, you could put this down as right view. Right? You could actually look like this is a foundational starting point of right view, is this goodness that's everywhere amongst us. It's in the in-between, if you will. It's not in us, it's not outside of us, it's everywhere. I know that sounds really crazy, but that's how it is. God is this goodness that is in all things, everywhere, all time. I looked up the word as I was looking up or putting this down. Omnipotence came up in my dictionary, and I thought it was interesting what they said. So I look at it as the good everywhere. Like, that's my interpretation of omnipotence, this good everywhere. However, the state of being widespread or constantly encountered. And this is what the dictionary said, and I thought, wow, that's really funny. The omnipresence of the internet, for example, or the omnipresence of TVs in all public areas. Like, yeah, that's what I want to hang my hat on. That is awesome. The internet and the television, that is the omnipotence that is everywhere around us. Number 2 of the Unity 5 principles are people are good. So again, it's that right view. God is good, people are good. But this is also right intent, that we are spiritual beings created in God's image. So this is an intention of how we are. This is our intent to be a creator, a co-creator in this life. Number 3 is thoughts create our experience. Well, this is right conduct and livelihood. This is us creating our lives through our thinking. So if we conduct ourselves through our thinking and we then manifest that out into the world, our livelihood. Number 4, prayer is connection, affirmative prayer. So this is right effort and mindfulness. This is actually sitting and intentionally putting in the effort, putting in the mindfulness to be in that state of prayer. And finally, action is required, right concentration, the path. So you can see there's a lot of similarities in how we conduct ourselves in our 5 principles to what the Buddha was talking about in the Eightfold Path. We can take that and bring that into the same realm. Of course, as my dad would have said when he was around, that figures often lie and liars often figure. So, we can probably make anything mean anything we want. I will choose, though, to bring these two together and have them work as one and take that wisdom from the Buddha and put it into our unity principles for today and have that lead me to that path to freedom. So then I was also thinking about the 12 powers. Well, how could we take some of those and use them in this context? How could we bring 12 powers into what we're doing? And so the first one that came up for me was, of course, the power of release, the power and the ability to let go. Because if we want to be on this path to freedom, we can't have these illusions from the past still haunting us today. We need to leave them in the past. And so release is a beautiful way to do that. This is that idea of letting something go, letting it be. It doesn't mean you agree with what happened. It doesn't mean that you have to allow somebody that's done you wrong to feel like, oh, that was okay. It's not that it's okay. It's that we can release and let it go and have it no longer be in every part of our life that we live. And then will, of course, is one of our powers, and the Buddha speaks specifically to that. And this is important for us to choose and decide and to direct our lives. We can bring in the power of will in order to do this. And finally is the power of power. And this is located here in the back of our tongue and our throat. And this is the words that we speak. It's so important that we are able to conduct ourselves through our speech, through what we think and what we say. And I don't know if you've ever had this experience, but I know for me, when I'm thinking about ideas and I have these, even today's talk, is that as I say things out into the world, it actually echoes back to me. And I can hear in my own mind how it sounds. And then I can reflect later and think, I don't think that quite sounded the way I wanted it to. I'm going to shift that a little bit and say it this way next time. So as we speak into the world, we can actually find our voice at the same time. Because as we echo, as we say things out, they echo back to us in every aspect of our life. And so it's a great, this is what that whole idea of sharing what's going on in your world. Like if you want dreams to come true, you share them. Why? Because they echo back to us. And I was thinking in all of this, I was out for my walk and thinking about this morning, and I was really caught in this moment of reflecting of just how grateful I am. I was thinking, like, I get to do this. Even last Sunday, as we finished another congregational meeting, and then I had a term paper to write, and I had some other assignments due all last Sunday. And even though it was a very stressful day for me, and in all truth, I was late on my assignment. I handed it in a day late, and that's fine. I was reflecting at just that I get to do this. Like, look at the responsibility that has been granted me in my deciding, my choosing, my answering my calling to just show up here one day at Unity and hear those words, mighty to attract its good and radiate good to others, and how that impacted me in such a way. I remember hearing them and thinking, wow, that's amazing. That really resonates with me. I can live into that. I want to be that. I want to be that good in the world. And so this morning I was really just caught in that moment of thinking, I get to do this. This isn't stressful. This isn't like, I have to go talk or I have to do this congregational meeting. It's like, what a gift that I am given this opportunity to really step into some goodness in the world and see if I can handle it, right? See if I can step up and deliver something. And it's beautiful, and I'm so grateful that I get that opportunity. And so I came across this scripture this morning, and I'm not comparing myself at all to Jesus in any way, but I thought it was so perfectly, because this is what we all get to hear. For all of us that regularly show up every day and listen to these teachings or listen to other people in the world that are speaking about these things or leading meditations or doing talks on spiritual life. And, I'm sure that you do this a lot in your own world. You're not just coming here on Sunday, you're listening to other things, and other things are showing up. And I look at all of this as source, as the creator, as the universe, just, constantly tapping us either on the forehead or on the shoulder to say, hey, this is for you, this is for you. And so in Luke 6:46-49, Jesus gives this parable. Why do you call me Lord, Lord, and do not what I tell you? I will show you what someone is like who comes to me, hears my words, and acts on them. So this is that constant tapping that we're getting, or those things showing up in our life that are giving us that hint of how we can follow this path to freedom. The one is like the person building a house who dug deeply and laid the foundation on rock. When a flood arose, the river burst against the house, but could not shake it because it had been well built. This is that practice, that looking into ourselves, doing that eightfold path, following the unity principles, using the 12 powers, having prayer, having meditation. This is that foundation, the building of ourselves so that we can withstand all of those illusions that are going to come along and throw us off our game. But the one who hears and does not act is like the person who built a house on the ground without a foundation. When the river burst against it, immediately it fell, and great ruin was of that house. So when we're getting these tappings, when we're getting these inclinations to follow our hearts, to live in the unity, the spirit, the oneness that we all know is available, that goodness that is everywhere constant. When we do those things, we can withstand whatever comes our way, and we can live into that path for freedom. But when we don't do that, then those illusions will haunt us and likely take us down to levels that we don't want to be at. So my invitation is to not lose sight of your goodness, to not lose sight of all that is available, all that is already given. There's so much that we can bring to one another. There's so much support here in this community that you can lean on. And so if you're feeling in that place where, the river is taking your house down, then reach out. Find somebody that you can lean on. Have a conversation, because there's plenty of goodness in this world to support you and to bring you to that path of freedom. Namaste. There's a meditation. Just find your breath. And gently allow all those words to drift away. And just bring your inside eyes and focus on the front forehead, right between your eyebrows. Just bringing your vision to that spot with your eyes closed. And with your focus there, I invite you to gently repeat to yourself, I am free. I am free. I am free. bring a smile to your face. I am free. I am free. And allow your focus to come back to your breath. Let it go. And we'll do one more, and this time a really long exhale on 3, 2, 1, and in. And let it go. I am free.
Our thoughts are prayer, and we are always praying. Our thoughts are prayer. Be careful what you're saying. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and know that God is always there. And every thought becomes a prayer. Our thoughts are prayer, and we are always praying. Our thoughts are prayer. Take charge of what you're saying. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and know that God is always there. And every thought becomes a prayer.
Thank you, Nico. That was fabulous as always. And Thomas, that was fabulous as always. You know, so many people who come to Unity also identify with Buddhist teachings, so that was great. Thank you. So now is the time we thank you for your financial support. And I just wanted to mention that if you were at the members' meeting last week, you will know that we have received a gift of $25,000 towards renovations to the office building. And the donors said that they always plan to remember Unity in their will, and they were reading my favorite author, Khalil Gibran, and the quote is, "All you have shall someday be given. Therefore give now, that the season of giving may be yours and not your inheritors." And I thought, what fun it might be to see their money being put to use. So I'm just saying, you know, if that gives anybody any ideas. Anybody want to match that? And the other thing, we talked quite a bit about finances last week, and the gifts we have received from the government during COVID that have helped us prosper greatly. And we often say that we're doing very well, and in fact, some months we've done better than in the corresponding months last year, which doesn't necessarily mean our donations have always been up. Yes, our donations have taken a hit. Quite frankly, they're less. But many people are continuing to make sure what they would normally give if we were still attending in person is still getting to us one way or another, whether it's writing a check every once in a while or e-transfers, or just being conscious that we don't need 5 glasses of water or 8 glasses of water a day, which doesn't mean that there's any lack there, but your body needs that. And your center needs financial support if we're going to keep doing the great work we're doing and more. So thank you very much for all the effort you've put into keeping us going. And so would you repeat our abundance affirmation with me, please? Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Once again, thank you for being with us this morning. If you're on Facebook or if you're on YouTube, why don't you just put a little comment in there right now so we know where you're watching from. We'd like to know that everyone is welcome, Vancouver Island and beyond. And if you happen to be in Mumbai, please let us know. We're glad you're with us. Let's stand now and do our prayer for protection and our peace song. The light that is God surrounds me. I am one with the light. The love that is God enfolds me. I am one with the love. The power that is God protects me. I am one with the power. The presence that is God watches over me. I am one with the presence. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well. And so it is. Amen.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. That there all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let
Kyle and Leslie and Gisela.